Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of New Tool Tuesday. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a tool that I think you guys need. It doesn't matter if you're a DIYer at home or if you're a professional and you work on stuff all the time. This tool that I have right here is super handy and has gotten me through so many different kind of problems. And not only that, it's durable as hell. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Porter Cable 1500 watt electric heat gun. There are so many different applications where you would need a heat gun. If you're installing stickers on your car, if you're applying vinyl wrap on something, if you want to debadge some emblems on your car, or if you want to tint your taillights. Using a heat gun like this is going to be saving you not only time, but it's also going to be a super easy job because this tool has many different settings on it. So this heat gun right here is a 1500 watt completely adjustable heat gun. So you can see that you've got a couple settings for the fan speed. We have off, low speed, and high speed. Now on the side of it, you'll also note that we have this little potentiometer. And this little dial that you have right here can control if you want the air that's coming out of this unit to be super hot or just slightly warm. And you can have any kind of setting in here depending on what kind of heat that you're looking for. So if you want it to be cold, you can have it here. If you want to have it to be a little bit warmer, you can set it like this. When this is set to the low setting, it's got a temperature of about 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And when you crank this all the way up to its maximum heat setting, it gets all the way up to 1200 degrees Fahrenheit, which is incredible out of a little handheld unit like this. So if you guys are using a hair dryer for whatever kind of application that you're using, you know, that might get you by, but there are so many different applications where you would need a heat gun instead of just something that gets a little bit warm. So a tool like this is very durable. You can see that it's got these rubber sides on it. So if you were to throw it on the ground, you're not actually gonna be damaging the tool. These little rubber stoppers are gonna protect its landing and it's gonna save it so this machine doesn't get beat up. This tool comes with a very nice, very thick electrical cable right here. It's got a 6-foot cable and I have zero problems with this tool. So on Amazon, you can pick this tool up for less than $30. And that is actually very good considering what the other heat guns go for, and they have almost none of these features. So usually it's just on, low, high. You don't ever have this kind of setting, and they usually feel pretty chintzy. This tool here feels like it's a very nice quality unit. Now, not only that, Amazon has this for sale right now. I purchased this unit that you're seeing right here back in 2014. So this unit is quite old and it still works and still looks amazing to this day. I use this anytime I have to remove emblems, anytime I have to use a little bit of heat into something. This thing gets the job done, and I'll show you how simple it is. So if we jump to the back side of my Nissan 370Z, you'll notice that the bottom part of the bumper is black. And that down there is wrapped in a gloss black vinyl. And you can see that when you go up close to it, it looks amazing. So I actually had to use this exact same heat gun to get it so that that vinyl wrap will conform to each of the curves. So you can tell that this part here is not exactly smooth. It's not a flat panel. So using a heat gun in an area like this is essential to get it down so that it looks perfect. You can see that there's no creases, no nothing, and it looks fantastic. Now, I'll be using the exact same heat gun that I used to do the bottom part of the bumper tomorrow when I do the top part of my car. I'm actually going to be vinyl wrapping the roof gloss black. I love it when cars have a swooping A to C pillar, and when the roof is blacked out, it just accentuates that curve and looks incredible. If you guys want to stay tuned for that video, be sure that you're subscribed because I'll be doing that tomorrow. But as for today's video, I'm gonna be working on the back side of the car to show you how nice this heat gun is. So I used it for the bottom part of the diffuser and it was incredibly helpful. Today I'm gonna be showing you how awesome and easy it is to remove badges when you're using this heat gun. So before we just go ahead and start using the heat gun, we're actually going to need a roll of tape to outline the perimeter of the badges first. That way we're not going to be scratching up the paint or have any kind of hazard while we're doing this entire procedure. So first things first, you're gonna grab some of your 3M tape and you're gonna make a perimeter around the outside of the badges. So the reason why I'm doing this is so that once I actually go ahead and use the tools to start removing these badges, I'm not actually going to have the hazard of damaging the clear coat. So if you guys take your time with this, you're gonna get great results. The heat gun isn't going to be the part that's going to be causing any damage. It's going to be the other tools that we're going to be using along with the badge itself. The badge, if we lift it up in the wrong manner, it could scratch and dig into the paint. So I'm just going to finish up with doing the perimeter and I'll get back to you guys in 2 seconds once I'm done. So with that done, you can grab your heat gun and start warming up the emblems. So there's 3M adhesive that's attached to the backside of each one of them, and you need to soften that up using the heat gun. So I'm going to set this to about the medium setting. and I'm gonna put it on setting number 2. That's the fastest fan speed. And I'm gonna keep my hand on the side of here to actually see how warm this is getting. So if you're just doing this blind, you won't exactly have an idea as to how warm this is getting. So once you do that and keep your hand there, you'll be able to tell if it's getting too hot. You just want it warm. With it warm, you're then gonna wanna grab either some fishing line or some dental floss to remove the badges. I like using fishing line because it's a lot stronger than dental floss. However, you can use either or to get this done. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab the string, slide it behind the badge, and it's going to basically cut or remove all the 3M adhesive on the back side of it. And then you'll be able to pull it and lift it up like that. So there's the 3, and you're gonna repeat the same procedure until you have the entire thing removed. So the reason why we're using the heat gun is we're actually softening up the glue that's found behind here. It makes it so that the fishing line can slide behind the badge and remove this super easily. Now if it starts to get difficult, all you have to do is back this off, grab the heat gun again, warm this up, and then do the exact same thing. So if you were to go ahead and do this and lift up on the Z badge right here, what you should do is not lift it up so that one of the corners dig into the paint. So if you can tell, you're gonna try and like slide it away from the paint or across from it. If you want, you can twist it, but do not, whatever you do not dig into it like that, because at that point, you'll actually be digging into the paint. But because we have the tape there, we're protected from it. So there you go, we have all of that removed, and then we're gonna follow it up by removing all the adhesive that's on here. If you're interested in this entire procedure of how to debadge your car, you guys can find more information in the description box, or you guys can click up this link right here, where it's gonna bring you to a different video of mine where I showed you specifically how to debadge a car. If you want the really fast version of what I'm gonna be doing next, I'm gonna be removing all of this here with a 3M eraser wheel. At that point, if there's any residue, I'll clean that off with a grease or wax remover. And at that point, if there's any scratches that are left on here, I'll polish it off. At that point, this is all going to be completely removed from the vehicle. So that's how you do it. In real life though, you shouldn't exactly be doing this fast by any means. So when I actually did this, I ran into a small problem. And by small problem, I mean a boo-boo that you should take note of what I did wrong and then learn from it. Are you So what you guys just saw was my drill on the fastest setting where the eraser wheel basically dug into the paint. The eraser wheel doesn't act as a rubber anymore when it's going that fast, so be careful and don't go fast by any means. Once I cranked it down and went to the lower speed setting on my drill, it came off without a problem. However, this is pretty much what you're gonna be left with. Now, maybe it's just because I wanted to make another video for you guys, but I need to address that and fix that issue. So I'll be letting you guys know and bringing you guys along the entire procedure for fixing that little bit there. If you guys have any quick suggestions or whatever, let me know, comment sections down there. So disregard my mess up for a second, but can you tell that there's no ghosting, there's no 370Z in the reflection of the paint? So if you do have that, the paint needs to be polished out so you remove those imperfections. But as you can tell, after we polished it, it looks crystal clear and perfect, just like the rest of the paint. So you can see a nice reflection there and a nice reflection here. So I'm gonna have that touched up and fixed up, but you know, whatever, shit happens. So we use the heat gun for the badges on the back side of the car. Now, if you want to do the same thing for the front, you can do that, but you can also use the heat gun for many other parts on the vehicle. So if you want to use paint protection film, or you want to put a colored film on top of the headlights, you can use the heat gun to make it so that it'll conform to all the edges. So when you're doing relatively flat stuff, like let's say the front part, it's not going to be that difficult and you might not need the heat gun. But if you have any kind of curve, like here that comes around, or this here that's coming in like that, you're 100% going to need a heat gun to push it down into those areas to get it perfectly flat. The same thing kind of goes for the daytime running lights that are found on the bottom side of the bumper. So this here is actually covered in a tint, and I just used the heat gun to make it look perfect. So take a look at the corners. It's nice, there's no bubbles, no nothing. What's cool about this is that the tint is dark enough to just change the color of it, but it's not dark enough to distort the clarity or the light output from these lights. Now, I wouldn't necessarily use this for headlights. However, for something like this that isn't exactly projecting light onto the road so you can see, this is an amazing and nice looking way to change up the color of them. When I tinted the taillights on the Accord, I had to use a heat gun to make it so that the red out part on the top would conform to the entire curve, because it curves around the car and it also curves up and down. So when you have multiple curves like that, you need to use some sort of heat source to get it so that it lays down nice and smoothly. And if you get right up close to it, you can see it still looks great even to this day. And I did this years ago. I'll give you 3 guesses as to which heat gun I used to get that done. The Porter cable. It worked back in 2014 when I got it. It works all the way up until this day, and I've got no complaints and no issues with this unit. So if you guys ask me, I think the blacked out bottom section looks pretty good. The headlights on this thing definitely need to be blacked out, but I'm not gonna be going with that kind of route for the headlights. So stay tuned, stay subscribed, guys. If you guys wanna pick up the tool that you guys saw featured in this video, there's going to be a link in the description box directing you right to Amazon. There's also gonna be all the other supplies that I use should you guys be interested in it. I'll be using this exact same heat gun that you guys saw today in this video for tomorrow's video. If you guys have any questions regarding the video, comment section's down there. You guys know what to do by now. Thanks for watching, peace.